justice for all. Item number 1 is to approve the minutes of the July 1st regular meeting.
Make a motion we pay it before we pay it. I make a motion we approve the minutes of the Wednesday, July 1st meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 2 is budget transfers and amendments.
Make a motion we approve the budget transfers and amendments.
And we have a certification
Yes,
that
ma'am.
needs to be added in there. Actually, we have 2 certifications. One from the Texas Department of Agriculture, a block grant. This is for Butler, $18,900, and a Texas Department of Emergency Management CARES grant, which is $128,117. We have those certifications.
That's in my
That
motion.
included in your motion?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do we have a second?
I second that.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve and pay the bills.
Make a motion to approve and pay the bills.
I got one question on the DA deal, the doctor. Does that have to do with the trial?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve the payroll.
I make a motion to approve payroll.
Second.
Motion carried.
You need to vote. Did we vote?
I'm sorry.
Did we vote? Did I
All
miss
in
it?
favor, aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 5 is reports. I have the auditor's monthly report from June, the treasurer's report, which is based on the auditor's report for June, JD3 June report, county clerk for the month of June, district clerk for the month of June, also have a vacation and sick leave liability report for the period ending June the 27th. An investment report shows the interest earned for the interest earned and the amount that is invested. Senior services report for June. Quarterly sick leave report. We have some hours donated, none requested or used. And the June report for the tax office. Do we have any reports?
Yes, ma'am. As far as emergency management goes, I'll hand this out to you. You looking at your leisure. I didn't get a sheet on it showing what the date I was, but this is kind of going to look over, kind of know what we're doing. The amount of stuff we've got to do. The sheriff's office received a grant recently, and part of the grant was to verify that they were following the NIMS objectives. And there's several questions, and it's not that you got, these are the questions, not the pages, are the questions that they have. And this had been turned back in to the state, and those are the questions. And the lighter areas of Premier County, fading out of the those are the questions, or the answers that we gave to those questions. And you can see how much of it is involved. A lot of reports, a lot of stuff that, as far as I can find, is not actually happening, not in place right now. We're working on getting all this stuff put in place and better tracking methods on it. So just look through there and you'll see how much activity actually is. The next pages are when the MC is supposed to be contacted. On the third page again. And that way, if you see me running down the road in the middle of the night or whatever, you'll understand that's because the sheriff's office called, or fire department called, or something like that, so you know what we have going on. There's just a lot of stuff to be done anytime the power is out. I don't phone the sheriff's office midnight one night because the power was out. The guy had an oxygen generator and needed electricity running. So anyway, finally got around, they couldn't get through to Nevada County Electric, and finally got that settled with the help of the dispatchers and some of the neighbors. So those are things that you have to look at and what all we have going on. And the last part is, this is the policy and procedure from the sheriff's office, and each one of our divisions should have one of these, where you're following in. I talked to the folks about COG yesterday. They're the ones that, and other places have done, that the commissioners, each precinct should have one of these completed. I don't know if we want to go that far or not, so we need to discuss it, just so you got it on your radar, so you know what's happening. You know, but they are recommending that, because if you have a storm coming in, the commissioners are going to be wrapped up with emergency services, so you need to know what NIMS is, the terminology, and a lot of stuff like that, so we're all on the same page. We have something later come in. A couple of questions that I have on this thing, you can see some handwriting on the bottom, is to make sure that we have, and I don't know, check a little bit. If we have regular service agreements with folks for water, toilets, and water, food supplies, miscellaneous supplies, art sheet, and debris disposal, that we have things in place that will make it readily accessible if we have a major emergency happen here. When the tornado comes in, do we have stuff that is readily accessible so we don't have to go through, go out and get bids, go out and get all those things? Any questions?
Let me ask one question. Have you've been talking to the different entities I see here? Have you been talking to like Wortham, Fairfield, the city? Have you been, so y'all been coordinating?
I'm talking with Fairfield, but
Okay, all right.
Wortham, we don't have that much communication back and forth except with the emergency services part. But TIG, Fairfield, Streetman, we're communicating a lot back and forth.
Any other reports?
I'll make a motion to approve the report.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Item 6, Garland.
You put it off, did you do it?
Yes, do we need to put that on?
Not yet.
Jeff. All right, item number 7, special road use agreements. Anyone have one? If not, we'll go to item number 8 to approve bonds and education certificates. Anyone? You're looking about something you think they all right. If not, we'll go to item number 8, approve bonds and education certificates. Are there any? None. We'll go to item number 9, consider the county transportation infrastructure fund resolution. And this resolution says that we have applied for grant funds under the County Transportation Infrastructure Grant Program and the Texas Department of Transportation awarded Freestone County with a total eligible grant of $361,688. And we have to have this resolution for TxDOT that authorizes us to execute the grant agreement and to sign all invoices, certificates, and others. Actually, authorizes me to sign those. We have to have this for TxDOT. Discussion? Okay. If not, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 10 is to accept the county transportation.
Good. Y'all have any area transfer in here, folks, on the pipeline? West to release on, I just saw it in mine. Look there in precinct. It's 3 and 4, I guess. Y'all have it?
Which one,
These are county roads. But also, they want a bond for lead. Okay, y'all, 1080.
Please. All right.
I just think the motion we table this, so we have time to look at it.
We don't even need a motion, we just.
Let's start asking.
Ask that,
That's
do
fine.
that, we'll do it.
Okay.
Next. All right. Item number 10 is to accept county transportation infrastructure fund grant agreement. This is also, the state of Texas acting by and through Texas Department of Transportation. And it is a part of that same TIF, it's a grant agreement for the TIF program.
Just need a motion to accept the county transportation.
To enter into that agreement.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Anybody aye? All in favor, aye. Thank you, motion carried. All right, we'll go to item number 11, which is to accept the consultant services master agreement to perform psychological services to the Freestone County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff had talked to us about this before, about trying to get, this is another unfunded mandate, is what we call it.
Yeah, this is an unfunded mandate that they put into effect, probably almost 2 years ago. They gave us plenty of time to get it, and all the jails get set up everywhere. We pushed it to the brink, because the way we handle our medical and mental is they go to Limestone. They're more capable of being set up there, or they go to McLean County, or even worse. But they can treat them there, so we've been able to push it to the limit and not have it here as of yet, but we've been at the point where we've got to have it no matter what. We're still going to be sending our medical and mentals to Limestone, but the state requires us to have it here regardless in case something happens and we end up having to house somebody here for a short period of time. The
cheapest one we have found so far that will work to us, because we tried to find someone who would do it per call basis, because we don't need it every day. We may not even use it 2 or 3 times a month. And it's a shame that we may have to spend $30,000 a year for something we're not even going to use. But the agreement that I provided is the cheapest one we found by far. I've got 2 in my hand. One's about $60,000, and then the other one's about $2,400 a month, whatever that comes out to. Plus, they want you to have a nurse, so they're requiring us to hire a nurse as well. So the one we have here is one we can call. We pay for them when we call. They're going to give us 10, 12 hours a week to use it. If we don't use those hours, it will roll over to the next week, and so on and so forth. That way we still have hours available to pay for. So if we need them 4 days one week, then we'll still have those hours to use them. And it's going to cost us roughly about $30,000. There's places paying over $100,000 for this. So $30,000 is pretty good, and it's the cheapest we've been able to find to give us what we need to satisfy the state requirements. We do have the equipment. We got that on grant. $230, $400 worth of equipment. They give us the equipment. So we do have the equipment. It's set up. It's ready. We just have to add in the telemed with a company out of Corsicana, which is who we also use for our site testing and stuff like that.
$2,500 a month. $2,500 a month.
Do we have a motion to enter into this agreement and to,
Is that cheaper than the 2,400?
Yes, because you have to hire a nurse.
Yeah, I like that.
They won't even do the agreement without us having a full-time nurse.
the other agreement is 24?
Right.
Ain't good.
That's these mandates that keep coming down, costing us money.
Then they want to maintain lower amounts that we can, they want to regulate what we can do, but We don't know how much it's gonna be yet, do we? No.
Sign this one that we have.
This is a different one. At least there are some funds that are coming. Oh, you do have,
Yes, ma'am, we have.
no, it has the holes in it. Let me give you this. Would that work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And they don't say how much we're getting?
No, we just have to apply. We have been keeping up with all of the expenses that have been used to date, and so we'll just collect all of those and apply for reimbursement from them. You know, like this plexiglass, and plexiglass at the clerk's offices, and hopefully fiber optic is what that is, that they'll be putting, if we approve it, we're gonna apply for that reimbursement also, because they are having to remotely do their registrations and things, and having trouble with the internet that they have. So that's gonna be the request on that. Do we have a motion, for the grant to approve, applying for the grant?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 13 is to consider a resolution declaring Freestone County as a sanctuary county for all businesses. And the basic thing that this is going to say is that we believe that every business in our county is an essential business, so that we want to be able to assure as much as we can that all businesses can remain open.
Make it motion.
What I'm trying to get clarity. So what are we saying? Are we saying if the governor come out and
Wait a
say,
minute, I'm sorry.
if the governor comes out and declares that we're closing, or we're trying to say that we're declaring that we're a sanctuary?
I don't know how that will work out. I have a feeling that the governor's, whatever he says, will override what we
Yeah.
say. But we would like to send this, if he does, send this to him and say that we don't believe that the businesses in our county should be closed.
What I'm afraid of, if we get into something like that, and we're also asking for, we just signed where we're asking for money from the governor, and then we're at the same time saying we want money from the governor, but then we don't want to abide by some of the rules that the governor set. Is that going to cause us some problems in the event that we have financial issues and we need assistance from the governor?
There is always that possibility, but we don't agree with everything the governor does. I do not, let me say, I'm not saying we as the court, I'm saying I don't agree with everything that the governor does.
Yes, yes, and that's
And I don't
right.
mind standing up and saying that I don't
Yeah.
agree with him.
Yeah.
The funds are already available for these grants, and we're just applying for our portion of it. But, I don't know. I don't really know how to answer what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But we still, I think, should take an opportunity to get the grant money that we can get.
Yeah.
But I think we also have the right to tell him that we don't agree with what he's doing. And I don't know that if he closes everything, it would be, his rule would be
Yeah.
above our rule.
Yeah.
But we still, I think, should stand up and say what we believe for our county.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone coming here picking and choosing what can stay open and what has to be closed.
Do you have any other
We have to do that.
clarification you'd like to give us, Brian?
It's kind of, I mean, it's a mess, right? Everything that's going on is a mess. I see what Mike's saying, and I think that could be a concern, so I appreciate him bringing that up. I think if I'm hearing correctly, I think kind of what we're doing is doing this now so that we could push it if we felt like that was the right thing for the county to do at that point in time in the future. And maybe that's the time we would weigh, you know, because obviously the governor has gotten into battles over his rulings with different places. And so maybe he would come out and say, hey, if you start doing something like that, I'm not giving you funds. Well, then we would come back to court and we would kind of talk about it from there. I think there's so many things that could happen in the future, but I do see the benefit of getting something that in place for Freestone County if it came about in the future that we wanted to push it and we felt like that was the best for Freestone. If the court felt like that was the best for Freestone County.
We're not the only county doing it. In the state, several counties.
Like Judge said, that what your scenario definitely could happen. I'm not saying that it won't. I feel like it won't. If you want my opinion, I think it's too separated. The funding and the grant money is too separated from counties kind of picking which rules we're abiding by and which ones we agree with, and then those orders coming together. So I feel like it's too separated for that concern to actually happen, but I do think it's something that was good to bring up.
Well, I do know that listening to Judge Clay Jenkins when he passed some things, and you heard the governor say, no matter what the county judge in Dallas passed, whatever he passed, trample whatever the county judges passed. So no matter what we do here, the governor override whatever we do anyway. So.
But think about this. When he closed the churches, basically, there was an uproar about it. He realized that he was wrong, and so he needed to change what his ruling was and put out a new order that did allow for more. And so if he comes back and tries to close a lot of stuff, if we can all get together, the county judges and the citizens, and get together and send something to him, then he may reconsider some of the things that he's done. He may not, but I don't think there should be retaliation for us saying what we believe and what we're doing for our citizens.
This says it considers all businesses are essential. That's all it says. And they are, Freestone County.
I totally agree, and I don't disagree that all businesses are essential. I totally agree. I was just looking at it from the standpoint of assistance if we got to a place that we did need assistance. And I didn't want any problem getting any type of assistance. That's all I was saying from the government. So.
I'll second Andy's motion.
Thank you, Mike. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 14 is to consider the Northland Internet contract. We do have, finally, it was a real challenge trying to get that. We do have the estimate. Maybe I didn't. Thank you. We do have an estimate for putting fiber between the courthouse and the Annex 3. The fiber would permit the Annex 3 to access all the internet capabilities that plus telephone access, so they would be on our same system. Now, the cost to put that in is $6,300. That's a one-time cost. It's pretty, the splicing and everything to get it in place for Windstream is pretty expensive too. Windstream said that they would waive that for us. Like I said, we're going to try to get this into that grant, get reimbursed for it. $6,300 sounds like a lot, but I talked with Aaron. There'll be a number of savings from now on by them being able to not have all these different services, like phone services, different internet services. And this Northland cable thing was, I it seems like this would certainly be financially the best way, and it's going to be a much better service for the annex. Anything you want to add to that? And, you know, originally, the first time that we talked about this and trying to get it done, the JP said they would rather do this if we could get it done, but it's just drug out, trying to get them to come and give us a price and get it done. But we do have this price now. So, all we have on the agenda is for the Northland Internet contract. So,
But Judge Grant, this is one thing, it's there's two contracts, that would be 100 something a month times two.
Times two, that's correct, yeah, for each of them.
That tie Larry into them,
Pardon?
this will tie Larry
Yes,
into them.
the handguns and everything will be all in the same system.
Make a motion.
No, we're looking at the Northland Internet contract, so I'm asking that we not do that, we just pass that.
Pass that, okay.
Not table it, but not do it. And then we'll go forward with this other option. Is that agreeable with everybody? Okay. Item number 15, go out for a bid on County Road 111, that's precinct 1, for a bridge.
Make that motion.
Yes, second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 16 is to ratify the declaration of the local state of disaster for Freestone County. You can put an emergency one on, but it has to be ratified within 7 days. And I did do the declaration for local state of disaster due to the rains and the damage, and so we're collecting the information now on, not we, y'all are collecting the information now to turn into the state to see if we can get any disaster funds. So this is ratifying that declaration.
Make it motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 17 is to select additional members for the salary grievance committee. Linda said that she had sent out, and everyone that was, she sent out a letter to has declined. One yes, and we need 3 yeses. All right.
No,
Yeah, you picked them, man. I picked them last time.
Lucky you.
I can't read these people's names.
Well, you pick them in the
I'm
good.
reading that.
I'm gonna leave this week. How many do you want?
We picked 9 last time.
How many you need?
All right. Sharon Lopez. Charles Gibson. Walton West. I've got all easy names.
Yeah.
Melanie Hemingway. How many is that?
4.
4. D. Lynn Chap. Aaron Albright.
You need more?
I think y'all need to make the choice of maybe 9, and we'll send them all out.
Aaron Nowaski. John Abraham.
Is that 9?
That's 8.
You just didn't like this.
Oh, Clyde Reed.
Jerry Moore.
And that's 9.
Jerry Moore.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve this selection
I make a motion that we approve the selection
for the salary grievance
of
committee?
the salary agreement.
Got a motion? Second.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carries. We're gonna skip number 18, and we'll hold number 19 until, well, no, we go ahead. We'll take a minute. Did they bring those in here? Yeah, right there. All right. What we're passing out today is
I guess we'll start with bulk fuel. And, we had 3 bids. One was from Live Oil, one was from Suncoast Resources, and one was from Winners Oil Partners. The bid that came in from Suncoast, we did mark it out as invalid. The tax rate was incorrect and making a false bottom line. They had also put in taxes for the red dye diesel, which there's no tax on the red dye diesel. I did speak with the area rep yesterday at Buffalo, and she apologized for it, and she said they would get it right next year, and that she didn't understand, because it would have made it a lot lower, but it wasn't correct. And so we did mark that one out, and so I guess the guys can just decide on the other 2, Wild Oil and Winners. They were all pretty close. The only difference is Live Oil does have a delivery charge. And so, depending on how many gallons, so the less gallons, the more the delivery charge. And I know the fire departments, they don't get as many gallons as the commissioners do at their precinct bonds. So, if it's from 200 to 350 gallons, it's a $64.50 delivery charge every time, along with the fuel.
Looking at this, I'll make a motion, we go with Winners Oil Partners.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried.
All right, and then the next one is the road-based materials. And so, the way that we can do this is, we put this bid tab sheet together. We had ACG Materials, LLC, AL Camp, Brian Crushed Stone, Knife River, and Sustainable Pavement in Texas bid. Those are the ones that bid on the different materials. I highlighted on the sheets, on your sheets, the ones that were higher in some area. And so we can, by statute, pick and choose all the ones that are lower in some area. So that would give you ACG Materials in the flex, Brine and Brine in that asphalt oil, AC 1.5 coal, plant scrap, and the road oil also, which y'all don't use, but the Knife River was lower in the Texas DOT 334 hot coal and the Texas DOT 340 hot mixed slate.
We can't accept them all, can we?
Well, we
Ones
wouldn't
that are
accept
set in yellow, because they had she was pointing out that all of
Understand
those
that, but
have a
they
small amount, so you can accept the ones.
ACG is in policy.
Right, it's not saying that you have to use them.
Okay, okay.
Right, you don't have to use them, but what I'm saying is if they're lower in a certain area, we can accept those bids. But there was AL Camp and Sustainable Pavement. They didn't even bid on anything on a bid sheet. So they're not here to explain what it is that they wanted, but they didn't bid on anything, so they wouldn't even be considered.
So for that flex, you have to get it from Knife River, is that what you're saying, Karen?
Well, the flex is actually, I see, he's saying.
Yes, so the flex you could get from Knife River because they did have a lower price
In something.
in some things, so you could accept the bid from them, the whole bid from them.
Health counts in my head too, and they're 775 on Flex, and Knife River's 875.
Don't they also have a place down?
And what we're saying,
Back down that way, should be closer for precinct 2 than 3 maybe.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
what it is you don't have to, what is highlighted in yellow doesn't mean that you have to use only where you're hauling from and to,
Right. Yeah.
and decide that as a commissioner. And that's why the statute allows you to pick and to accept all bids that are lower in something.
So AL Hamcamp, we can accept them because they're lower in flex two base.
They're not,
They're $775, they're cheaper than Knife River,
yeah, but they're
$875.
not the lowest in
They're not the
something.
lowest one, but they're the closest.
That's right. I mean, we,
How about if we table this to the next time, we'll do a little more research and see how we can, if we can, resolve that issue. I understand what you're saying. So let's table the road and base materials till next time. And we can, is that
We
what
can, I mean, I can bring this to
Oh, I
them,
know, I
but,
understand what they're asking, yeah, so let's
Yeah.
just table that.
okay.
And we'll visit about that, see what we can do.
Okay, we do have a motion on the table from number one.
I'm sorry?
We have a motion on the table from number one to accept all bids.
Well, that motion has died for lack of a second.
Okay.
So let's go through the rest of these, we may just table just that one section, all right? Which one are we doing next? We skip culverts?
Oh, Phil, yes, culverts is right here. Okay, we had one bid come in for culverts, and Wilson culverts.
make a motion, we go with them.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Wilson culverts bid. All in favor, aye? Motion carried. Okay.
Solid waste,
Solid waste.
we have Republic Services and Waste Connections. We're currently with Republic Services, and Republic Services did come in lower. They did have a environmental fee on here, but doing the math, the Waste Connections was $255 to $585 a haul on a 40-yard compactor. So that's a big difference. $228 versus $450 on a 30-yard, and $228 versus $340 on a 20-yard. I did talk to Mr. Newsom yesterday, and he says probably 14 20s a month, 8 30s, and maybe a 40, one time a month. So, but, doing the math, the rep for Republic Services says it's anywhere between 9 and 11%, which is not going to bring us up to even what the bill would be for Waste Connections.
And even though on a cleanup, they're a little bit higher, that's only once a year. So overall, the Republic is the best, our best.
Make a motion to go with the vote.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Motion carried. All right, now the HVAC.
We had 3 bidders on that area-wide services. I think they're out of Corsicana. Elite Air is out of Mahia, and Starnes Services is out of Mahia. The overall total, we had $77.50 for semi-annual maintenance and quarterly maintenance for area-wide services, $7,300 for Elite Air, and $79.72 for Starnes Services. We currently use Elite Air. They've done a great job. I mean, they're always there when we call.
Very responsible. Yes.
The service calls, they're allowed labor hourly rate, they're 63 compared to 95 or 70. And they're right in the middle for service calls, 55, 63, and 60.
Make a motion, to go with the lead area.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Motion carried. We have one area, the road and base materials, that we would like to table. Do we have a motion on that?
Make that motion.
Second.
supplies for the water rescue team. Joe, you're
Good morning. I'll like to give you just a, oh, yes, ma'am. Try to stay away from it. I'll give you a quick update from the water rescue team. Obviously, we had the big call last week on County Road 111. Definitely didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. But, you know, in the last couple of years, we've been coming to the court and asking for some equipment and communicating our training. I know Lonnie and agencies are doing that. So last week, right around noon, 12:30, the Fairfield Fire Department got paged out to County Road 111, and then shortly thereafter, the water rescue team got paged out. So boat 1, the inflatable boat, is in T. Boat 2, the newest boat, is in Wortham. We had 7 up to 15 members respond from 4 different fire departments. We got on the scene. Fairfield Fire Department and cut some trees down and made access down to the creek. We got down into the creek and made no less than a dozen trips, about 1.2 miles down the creek and back to the bridge. And boat 2 went on a different county road and tried to create a safety for us. The water was rushing very quickly. There were a lot of obstacles and debris in the way, and we did suffer some damages to both boats. With that being said, at the end of the day, everyone was safe. The equipment that was malfunctioned was minute, and obviously the ending didn't turn out like we wanted it to. So the water was around 25 to 30 foot deep in certain parts of the creek, and the victim was later found by a dog and a search party from the family about 3/4 of a mile down the creek. Once we got word that they had found the body, we had went down and analyzed the situation. We called back up to the incident command, the water command at the front, and we took Sheriff Shipley down, and we loaded the victim up in the boat and took it back to the front. So during that process, we were going up and down the creek, and obviously there was nothing. We couldn't find a car. We found some car parts, and there were a lot of us that thought that the vehicle may have been right there by the bridge. So we set up a rope system, a tyroleon is what we call it, and basically you set up a rope from one side of the creek to the other. We controlled our ability to go up and down the creek, and then we had people on the bank that controlled our side-to-side motion. A lot of us on the water rescue team know how to do that, but we don't have the equipment to do it. So we were very fortunate that we could piecemeal that situation together with rope from Fairfield's new ladder truck and some carabiners and some rope that we had in the boat. It worked. It did not work very well. It wasn't the safest aspect of the situation. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, I'm from Fairfield, and I think, Andy, you were there. The family was standing right up on top of the hill watching us. And, you know, it wasn't a good feeling knowing that if we had the right equipment, we could have done it a lot faster, a lot safer, and a lot more efficient. So hopefully we don't have this happen again. But what I'm asking for today, I've got a quote. What we're asking for is the equipment is ropes, carabiners, pulley, rigging plates. That would be enough for each boat, so boat 1 and boat 2. This could be used in different situations, not just for water rescue. If we had a confined space rescue around the county, we could use it. The equipment would obviously belong to the county, and we think it could be very beneficial. The commitment that I have to the court is, just like when we bought boat 1, the county, when the county bought boat 2, the fire departments and the members that are part of these teams are extremely dedicated to learning, being trained, and being as professional as we can ever possibly be to use this equipment. And I feel like we've done that thus far, and that's our commitment to the court. I know money's tight right now. I'm sorry, Judge, I forgot to give you guys. I know money's tight right now. The quote is for $3,514. You'll note on there a lot of that is for the rope and the carabiners. This stuff's not cheap. Anything to do with rescue, fire services is not cheap. And you know, a lot of the training that we do comes out of our own pockets. So we try not to bother the court with all of the costs that we have. For example, we popped the boat last week, and I paid for that out of our pocket just to get the repair kit to get it back in service. So we try not to bother the court, but this is obviously something that us as fire departments can't handle, and obviously us from a personal standpoint can't handle. So I would appreciate your consideration for this, and in the future, I know a while ago you mentioned bringing up some of the disaster grants for the situation on County Road 111. I'm not sure if any of those could ever, the boats could fall under that category where some of those monies could be allocated to the repair of the boats. If it's not, that's fine, we'll find a way to do it. But today, this is what we're asking you to consider.
I think, Karen, we can look at what was in that fund. We have funds for this in the capital outlay, isn't that correct?
How much is it?
3,000.
Yes.
I'll make a motion with, and do it.
Thank you.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
And if there, we'll be talking about the budget at our next meeting, so, whatever information you have that you want to pass along at that time, we need it then.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll definitely do it. One last thing, on that call, I mentioned we had 4 fire departments that were there, and we had several law enforcement personnel, and big thanks to EMC Monty. When I was a boat operator coming back around the corner, we got to bind at one point, and he's always a good face to see. So we had a lot of support, Sheriff, you and your crew. Thank you. Those calls are no fun at all, but it's what we train for. And so we thank y'all for all of your support, and y'all support that.
Thank you for what y'all do. Thank you.
That's not the first time the boats have been used in that kind of scenario. Boat 2 was used in Marshall, not long ago, almost a very similar situation. So, and these guys, I mean, that day was horrible.
Would you come up here so we can?
That was a rough day, for everybody that was there. Shocking and everything else you can think of to describe it. But our fire departments, man, these guys are awesome. And seriously, they don't get paid nothing. And they risked their life that day. And I was out there with them. And, I mean, they did an amazing job. They really did. I mean, I'm proud of our fire departments in this county. For real. They show up every single time we call, without fail. No matter what, you guys are good.
That's right. We are very blessed. And we realize it. We are very blessed. Thank you. Go to item number 22, which is, this is the third supplemental agenda. Consider seal bids for bridge on Eastern County Road 301.
There was 2 bids. One of them was from Curtis Nealon, Construction, and then the other was from Solid Ridge Construction LLC from Huntsville. So, this is for a repair on Bridge 301 and $24,000 from Nealon Ridge Construction. Okay, this is Solid Ridge Construction, $89,570.
And both of those were repairs.
For repairs for,
Who's that from?
301 Precinct 3.
Who's that from?
That's from Solid Ridge Construction out of Huntsville. So $24,000 and $89,570.
Do you need to review those for a minute?
I think I had talked to him, both of them. And so I was making a motion that we accept the bid on them for the balance.
So is that a motion?
Yes, motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. All right. Are there any comments
got those guys out there working. I mean, I know those guys that worked and brought the boat over, I saw them headed this way, and all the guys that showed up, I'm just thankful that we got what we got in our county. And I think we need to continue to support them and help them in every way we can. One other thing, over the weekend on Saturday, they had a food distribution from up at the lake. I think there's several people that benefited, churches, different people's fire departments, and got some stuff. They had a lot of pallets of food boxes of food that they passed out, and that was a big deal. It was done at the fire, Southern Oaks Volunteer Fire Department, and I think the ladies, Community Care Club, and a lot of people involved in that. So there were a lot of people benefited.
I want to say also to the fire department, I'm so glad that we purchased that first boat. And guys, I really, it has been a true delight working with you guys. Been so many of you call, concerned, things that you need. Just hearing about how you guys work so hard out there the other day, it really just touched me. And like I have always said, I was here for you. And, I just want to also say, I think the county truly is blessed having money as emergency management, to have someone to be able to work with all of the different entities. I mean, it's very rare that you can get an individual that can work with every individual and no one feel intimidated or threatened, and everyone pull together on the same page. And I think that speaks volume to our county. And I just really appreciate all of the work in for the fire department, all of the volunteer work that you do. I really do appreciate everything that you guys have done and doing in any way that we can help